Eh, Good morning, everyone. Let me welcome you to MedZone African Motives, whereby today we are going to do preparation and revision on Business Studies Grade 10 for Term 1 test that you're going to write. So this is a preparation which is in relation to grade 10. So moving on, the marks that are going to be awarded are 100 marks, and you are to take 1 hour and 30 minutes to write this paper. Hope we are together. So let us move on to instructions and information. It says read the following instructions carefully before answering the questions. So let us go for instructions before we can attempt to any question. They are very important. So instruction number 1 says this paper consists of 3 sections. We have section A, which is compulsory. We have section B, which consists of 3 questions, and you are to answer only 2 questions in these sections. But as we are going to attend to all of them so that we make a very good preparation for our term 1 test. Section C, which we are going to do later on, consists of 2 questions, and you are to answer 1 question. Of the 2 questions in these sections, like I've said, for our preparations, we are going to attend to all the questions that are asked on this question paper. Let us move on to instruction number 2. Read the instructions for each question carefully and take a particular note for what is required. Very important. Number answers correctly according to the numbering system used in this uh, question paper. So make sure that you do what? You correct the numbering. Except where instructions are given, answers must be in full sentence. Use the allocation and nature of each question to determine the level of an answer. Use the table below as a guide for marks and time allocation when answering each question. So that is that this is a table that you are to use as a guide for marks and time allocation. You see it, and let us move on to instruction number 7. Instruction number 7, begin the answer to each question in a new page. For example, question 1, new page, question 2, new page. Write neatly and legibly. So that these are instructions, and make sure that you don't make any mistake of ignoring these instructions. They are very important to look for them before you can answer any question. So let us move on to section A, which you know very well that is compulsory. So question 1, multiple choices. So question 1 is all about what? Multiple questions. It says various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only letter A, D next to the question number 1.1.1 to 1.1.5 on the answer book. For example, 1.16a. So that is that. So 1.1.1 says a plan of action taken by top management to achieve their vision. A plan of action taken by management to achieve their vision. So we are given 4 options. Then we are to come up with a correct answer. We have mission statement, vision, we have strategy, and we have objectives. So the correct answer is C, a strategy. As we know, a strategy is a plan like I said, a plan of action. A strategy is a plan to achieve goals. So that is that. That is why it becomes what? A correct answer. Let us move on to 1.12. The dash is an example of civil society. So we're given four options where we are given employees organizations, customer organizations, non-government organizations, and government organizations. So the correct answer there is non-government organizations, meaning the correct answer there is C, because non-government organizations are considered part of civil society because they represent various interests and voices in society. They also operate independently of government control. They as well address social, environmental, as well as humanitarian issues. So that is why it becomes what? A correct answer. So let us move on with people. 1.13. So here they make a mistake. They were supposed to write 1.13, not 1.12 again. So 1.13 says business use dash capital to purchase fixed assets such as land and buildings. So we're given four options: own capital, working capital, fixed capital, borrowed capital. So the correct answer then is C, fixed capital. We know fixed capital is a long-term asset. For example, buildings, machinery, you can talk of land again. So that is that. So the correct answer is C. Now we are moving on to 1.14. So this was a incorrect number. Ensuring a fair selection procedure during selection is a quality indicator for this function: marketing function, human resource function, administrative function, general management function. But the correct answer there is human resource function. Because human resource function, they are managing people. They are doing hiring, training, payroll. So that is that. They recruit. So once it says ensuring a fair selection, procedure during selection is a quality indicator for human resource function. So that is that. So now we are on our last one, on question 1.1. Operational decisions are taken at dash level of management. We have lower, we have top, we have middle, we have medium. So the correct answer there is a lower level management. This is our correct answer. Lower level management includes, that's what we're talking about, supervisors overseeing daily work. So that is always these decisions are taken at a lower level of management. Operational decisions. So that is that. So now let us move on to 1.2. Let us move on to 1.2. So here we are on 1.2. We are on matching question. As it says, choose description from column B that matches a term in column A. Write all letter A to J next to the question number 1.1, 1.25 in the answer book. For example, A, J is 1.26 and K. So that is that. So now we have column A as well as column B. So descriptions are on column B, which are to match terms that are in column A. So descriptions are in column B. So here, these are our descriptions. Then we're going to match them with terms in column A. So let's start. So now let us move on to 1.21. 1.21. 1.21 says line organizational structure. It talks about what? Line organizational structure. So when we talk of line organizational structure, we talk of a simple hierarchy where each person reports to one manager. For example, we can talk of business, a small business with a clear chain of command. So now we have to look at the description that matches this term. And you can see that the I is what? It. Description to match this term line organizational structure. I is a correct answer. Expect APC advisors to top and middle management. So that is correct. Now come to community-based organization. So community-based organization, that's when you're talking about a group seeking local needs. That is, for example, neighborhood associations. So it's a group seeking local needs. So we go through these descriptions and see which descriptions is going to match community-based organization after we've given the definition of this community-based organization. And you can see the C matches and that. You can see that the C matches that. As it says, organizations are aimed at making desired improvements to communities' health, well-being, and safety. So that is that. Now we come to macro environment 1.23. So it says macro environment, you know that is external factors affecting business. You can talk of economy, can talk of politics, can talk of technology. Those are the macro environment. Those are external factors that do affect our business. So with this one, if you can go through all this description and see which one is going to match that, you can see that E do match as well as J, but you can see these ones, they are not, it's just that they are the only descriptions that can match. But like as it says, business do have control over the environment, but we know that businesses do not have control on macro environment. They do not have what? Control. Even here, business have full control over this environment. We know very well that under micro environment, they don't have full control. They have no control. But because these are the only letters that talks about the environments, we can just consider them as the ones that can be corrected. Where we can say it can be E or J. So that is that. So now moving on to 1.24, public relations function. So when we talk of public relation functions, it's all about managing a company's image, relationships. So that's that. So if you go through these descriptions, we can see that the A is correct. A is correct because it deals with the promotion of good business image. So A is correct. Now we come to borrowed capital. Borrowed capital, those are funds borrowed to finance business activities. As we can talk of loans. So if you go there, you can see B is the correct answer. As it says, the type of capital the owner obtains from bank to pay it back with interest. So that is that. So these are all for 1.2 dimension questions. So now we have to move on to section B. So here we are on our section B. So that is the section that we are to attend today. Now, question 2. Section B says answer any two questions in this section. Answer any two questions in these sections. But as, like I've said, you're going to answer all of those questions. So there is a note given there. Clearly indicate the question number of each question that you chose. The answer to each question must start on a new page. For example, question 5 on a new page, question 6 on a new page. Question 2 now, business environments. 2.1, list two factors influencing the organizational structure of business. So we have our answers here for 2.1, organizational structure. So now we're given these answers under organizational structure. The first one is the size of the business. So size of the business, you're talking about number of employees and scale of operations determine how complex the organizational structure will be. That is that. We are talking about the number of employees and scale of operations determining how complex the organizational structure will be. For example, a small spaza shop has one owner managing everything, while a larger supermarket has managers for finance, HR, as well as marketing. So hope you get to it. So now we have business strategy as one of the organizational structure. So business strategy, we're talking about the goals now, the goals of a business influencing how departments and authorities are arranged. So that's that. Now we have the environment. It is located. So we have what? Environment. It is located. The environment the business is located also to determine the organizational structure. Also the operational approach of the business to determine the organizational structure. Nature of the available technology that the business is going to use. It is as well determining the organizational structure. The nature of product or service produced by the business. So any relevant answer related to these factors influence organizational structure. So that is that. So now we are moving on to 2.2. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So here is the scenario that is given. Swiss Bank. It says Swiss Bank is registered financial service provider. Swiss Bank bought new and advanced computers to improve service delivery. So this has led to increased customer base due to excellent service offered by the business. So now 2.21. 2.21 say identify one component of microenvironment applicable to SB in the scenario. So you are to identify one component of microenvironment. Remember, we have said that microenvironment is found within the business, and the business has full control over the microenvironment. We talk of employees, we talk of vision and missions, we talk of the organizational resources. Those are the components of micro environment. So let us quickly come to the given answers. So you can see here we are given organizational resources as the organizational resources. But I've said even employees, vision, and missions, they are as well the components of what? Microenvironment. For now, let us concentrate on the organizational resources. So let us move on to 2.22. Describe the component of microenvironment identified in 2.21. 2.21. So, because we have said it's organizational resources, we have identified what organizational resources from the scenario above. Because why we are saying it's organizational resources is because SB bought new and advanced computers. Those are resources for it to improve what service delivery. So that is why we uh, give the answer as organizational resources as a component that is in this scenario. So now we are to describe the organizational resources. That is 2.2. So here we are on organizational resources. So it says it includes all resources that are both concrete and human. Resources that are owned and controlled by the business that are used to operate effectively. So that is that. For example, we can talk of employees, machinery, money used by factory. Also, it further on says the business relies heavily on organizational resources to achieve its vision and mission. Business relies heavily on organizational resources. So that is that. So, the business relies heavily on organizational resources to achieve its vision and mission. So, meaning to say, without resources, a business cannot achieve its goals. Like SB, we have said it needs what? Computers for it to operate. So that is that. Organizational resource examples are employees, capital, equipment, land, and buildings. So those are the examples of what organizational resources. So those are main resources required for production. So that is that. So any relevant answer related to organizational resources is a component of micro environment. So that is that. So now let us be on 2.3. Let us be on 2.3. Explain the meaning of the following concept in relation to micro environment. So we have to explain vision as well as mission statement. So let's quickly try to give the explanations of those. So here we are on the meaning of vision. We are on the meaning of vision. It says include goals. Vision includes goals the business hopes to achieve in the future or long-term goals. Meaning to say, we are saying the vision describes what the business wants to achieve in the future. Get me straight. Vision describe what the business wants to achieve in the future. For example, to be the leading clothing retailer in South Africa. That's what it wants to achieve in the future. Also, vision determines the type of resources needed to achieve it. Meaning to say the vision guides what resources are required. For example, a tech company vision needs skilled IT staff. Those are the resources that it needs. Employees who are competent to do that task. Vision must be communicated with all employees so that all employees work towards accomplishing it. So it must be communicated to employees. Vision must be communicated to employees. Employees must understand the vision and to work towards it. So that is that. Now let us move on. Also it says vision. Vision also determines the nature of technology needed to make achieving it become easy and fast. So any relevant answer related to the meaning of the vision is accepted. So now let us come to the mission now. The mission, we are on mission now. It says it is the core purpose of the business, including actions taken on daily business. We're talking about core purpose of the business. Core purpose of the business. Meaning to say, it explains why the business exists, what it does daily. For example, to provide affordable quality food. That is the core purpose of the business. Returns. Get it well. Mission outlines short-term actions taken by business to achieve business vision. So here we are seeing the mission outlines short-term actions. Mission outlines short-term actions. Meaning to say, mission shows how the business will achieve its vision. That's what this statement means. Now going further to another point, it directs all actions of all stakeholders as it channels all efforts to achieve the vision. So here we are seeing direct actions of stakeholders. So direct the actions of the stakeholders, meaning to say it ensures everyone works towards the same goal. That is that. It outlines the activities of all employees required to meet the business goals and objectives. So it means the mission clarifies what employees must do to meet goals. That is that. So now let us move on to question 2.4. If I'm correct, yeah, 2.4. 2.4 says discuss technological environment as a component of macro environment. Technological environment as a component of macro environment. So here we are on technology. This is the answer for technology. Technological environment. Technological environment. So technological environment refers to the development of field of technology with new innovative technology. So it means that it refers to advances and innovations in technology. Get this point very well. As we are saying, it refers to advances and innovations in technology. That is that. For example, we can talk of online banking system. Now we move on to another point. It provides faster changes in the macro environment, such as fourth industrial revolution. So meaning we're talking about what? Faster changes in macro environment. So technology speeds up business changes. That is that. That's what this point tries to say. It simply means that technology speeds up business changes, speeds up business changes. business changes. So that is that. So, for example, we can talk of e-commerce replacing physical stores. You see. So let us come to another point. Employees' skills need to be developed in line with changes in technology. So we are saying employee skills must be developed. Employees' skills must be developed. So workers need training to keep up with technology. That is how you're going to develop the skills. Failure to keep abreast of changes may result competitors taking on the market. So that is that. Failure to keep up leads to loss of market. So business that ignore technology lose competitiveness. That is in short how we can explain this point. So now let us go to 2.5. So here we are on 2.5. As it says, advise business on the relationship between micro, market, macro environments. So what is that? Let's quickly go to the answers. So here we are on the answers of relationship between macro, market, and macro environments. So this is where we are now. So as it is, business enterprises are constant interaction with elements present in all three business environments. We were talking about a constant, constant interaction. Constant interaction. So what we are trying to say is that business interact with all environments daily. For example, business dealing with customers and government laws. So that is that. It further on says an entrepreneur aims to satisfy the needs of consumer in order to make a profit. So we are saying entrepreneur aims to satisfy customer needs. Also, we are saying meeting customers' needs helps and profit. So you're going to do this only when you satisfy the needs of the customers. Only when you meet the needs of the customers, that is when you can make a profit. So producing affordable products, that is what can help you to make a profit. During this process, the entrepreneur is subjected to challenges coming from, amongst others, competitors as well as the government. So now we are talking about challenges from competitors and government. So business face competition and regulations. So there's competition that you're going to face because there are business that are going to enter in that market. So that is a challenge the business is going to face. Also, there are regulations that are going to come from the government. So that is that. Entrepreneurs must deal with labor crisis, demands such as BEP, and as well as affirmative action. So labor issues and as well as legislation. That's what you're talking about. So meaning to say business must comply with labor laws. So like we're talking about a BEE requirements. So that is that. A business exercises control over most of the elements in microenvironments. E.g., business cannot force consumers to buy their products, but it can influence consumers through competitive price as well as advertising. So control over micro environments. You were talking about control over micro environments. So that is that. Because business can control internal factors only. So but can influence consumers by setting those prices that are affordable or by making use of advertising. So that is that. So now let us move on to question 3 now. We're going to question 3 because this is the end of question 2. So here we are on question 3, business operations. So we are on business operations. So 3.1 says, outline the difference between management and leadership. Difference between management and leadership. So here are our answers for 3.1. Here are our answers for 3.1. Difference between management and leadership. So we're going to talk about leadership and management. So it says influences human behavior. Leadership influences human behavior. So we need to say leaders inspire and motivate. They inspire and motivate. So a leader can, or the leader motivates staff to work hard. That is that. But management guides human behavior now. So many managers control and supervise work. That is that. Management controls and supervise work. Communicate by means of what we are now on leadership. Communicate by means of interaction, behavior, vision, values, and charisma. So that is a leadership. Leadership focuses on what and why, while the management focuses on how and when. That is that. Also, the leadership focuses on the horizon or long term. So they focuses on long term. They plans for future. That is that. They plans for future. For example, expanding a business in 5 years to come. So they plan for future. While the managers focuses on the bottom line, short term, medium, or long term. So it means managers focus on short or medium term. So they focus on daily operations. So that is that. Leaders are born with natural instinctive leadership skills, while a manager is a person. A manager, a, a person becomes a manager because of the position in which he or she is appointed to. So any relevant answers to leadership and management is acceptable. That is 3.1. So now coming to 3.2, which says identify the level of management applicable in each statement below. Level of management in each statement below. As it says 3.1, Peter hairdressers develops long-term goals, strategic plans, as well as business policies. 3.2, Ellen Murray takes medium-term and tactical decision. So now let us go to our answers. For our answers, here we are for 3.21. For 3.21. Here are our answers. And our answers is top level management, because we are told that the hairdressers take long-term goals. That is this, what you're talking about. Peter hairdressers develops long-term goals, strategic plans, as well as business policies. So this is what top level management. But Ellen Murray takes medium-term tactical decisions. So that is a middle level management. So that is why we have middle level management on 3.22. So that is that. So now we are moving on to 3.31. So 3.3 says read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Elvis Furniture specializes in the manufacturing of office furniture. So Elvis Furniture decided to buy more advanced technological machine to make furniture, making it easy and faster. Employees enjoy using this machine as it is user-friendly. So the question now says identify business function applicable to a Elvis function in the scenario above. As we have told that Elvis decided to buy more advanced technological machine to make furniture, making easy and faster. So you identify the business function applicable to EF in the scenario above. So with this statement, you can see that the business function is what? Purchasing function. Is what? Purchasing function. That is the answer for 3.31. So here we are, as you say, it is what? Purchasing function. So let us move on. Let us move on. 0.32 because 3.31 we've said the answer is what? The chasing function, because the Elvis function decided to buy more advanced technology machine to make furniture, making easy and fast. So that is a precision function. So 3.322 say discuss the importance of the business function identified in question 3.31. So the business function that we identified in 3.1 is what? Purchasing function. So now we want to know the importance of purchasing function. So here we are on the importance of purchasing function. Here they are, importance and purpose of purchasing function on business. As it says, it will ensure there is availability of raw materials at all times. Purchasing function makes sure that the raw materials are available. So it means it prevents production delays because they make sure that the materials are there all times. So it prevents production delays. Maintain quality of raw materials that are used to produce goods and services in the business. So meaning to say they ensure good quality products. So they ensure good quality products. Realize with production function to make sure there are no defects from the supply of raw materials. So they realize with production function to make sure that there are no defects from supply of raw materials. So that is that. Also, they assess the demand and supply of raw materials that aim to ensure that there is no loss incurred by business. So they maintain good supplier relationship. So that is that, because they assess demand and supply of raw materials. They ensure products are delivered on time, at the right time, at the right place, at a reasonable price. So here they ensure timely delivery. So products arrive on time and the place. Stock delivered before production. So that is that. They maintain good relations with their suppliers to always receive right stock. So it means they have to get reliable supply. They manage stock to ensure sufficient levels of stock to carry out business operations. You talk about managing stock levels, so they avoid shortages or excess stock as they manage a stock. Continuously looking for the best and reputable suppliers. They continuously look for a best and reputable supplier. So they look for good suppliers, reliable suppliers. They regularly contact other business departments to determine their needs. So they make sure that they connect with other departments so that they know what they need. so that they can work towards one common goal. Returns damaged goods to suppliers and ensures that is replaced. So they returns damaged goods to suppliers and ensure that those returns are replaced. Receives confirmation that all delivered goods were according to specifications and that the price invoiced is the same as the quoted price. So that is the purpose of this function, because they make confirmation of all delivered goods according to the specifications as well as the price that is invoiced, same as the quoted price. They negotiate best possible terms for payment with suppliers. So that is that. So now let us move on to 3.4. So 3.4 says, advise business on the purpose of National Credit Act. Purpose of National Credit Act. So here we are on the answers on National Purpose of National Credit Act. Purpose of National Credit Act. It promotes social and financial interest of consumers. So meaning to say it protects consumers from unfair credit practices. For example, limiting excessive interest rates. It also promotes a fair and competitive credit market. Meaning to say it encourages competition by promoting fair credit market. It also ensures that consumers know what is included in their credit contracts. So it ensures consumers understand contracts. Like, you can talk of credit terms, meaning to say we are saying credit terms must be clear. So that is that. Clear loan agreements. Prevent discrimination and ensure credit is available to all consumers. So they ensure equal access to credit. Makes provision for the establishment of National Credit Regulator, NCR. So, meaning to say, regulates credit providers. That is that. Ensure registrations of credit bureau and debt counseling service. So that is that. So now we are coming to question 4. Now we are on question 4. We are on question 4, business environments. As it says 4.1, elaborate on the meaning of threats in the business context. Elaborate on the meaning of threats in the business context. So that is 4.1. So here we are on 4.1. Threat in the context of the business. Threats are any factors in the external environment that will stand in a way or already in the way of business progress. That is threat. So, meaning to say a threat is any external factor that can negatively affect business or slow down its progress. That is that. If, for example, when you're talking about that, we can talk of a new competitor opening nearby and attracting the business customers. So that is that. A business has a challenge of continuously identifying threats in the business and devise strategies to deal with it. So that becomes a challenge for a business to identify threats in the business. So any relevant answer related to the meaning of threats is acceptable. So now let us go to 4.21. 4.21, read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Safe roof construction. Safe roof construction specializes in home building and roof. A safe roof construction finds it hard to buy building materials due to high inflation rates This has resulted in safe roof construction, not making large profits. So 4.21, identify one component of microenvironment applicable to a safe roof construction in this scenario. Now coming to our answer, component of microenvironment is economic, because we are talking of what? Inflation, high inflation rates. So this is what? Economic environment. As we are asked to identify one component of microenvironment that is applicable on the scenario is what? Economic environment. Because we have said SRC finds it hard to buy building materials due to high inflation rates. So that is why it is economic environment. 4.22, explain the reasons why a component identified in question 4.1 poses a challenge for a business. Why economic environment poses a challenge to a business. So here are our answers. Reasons why economic environment poses a challenge on business. That is that. So economic environment influences business decisions as it dictates changes. So economic changes influence business decisions, meaning to say business must adjust prices and strategies due to economic changes. That is why we are saying economic environment influences business decisions as it dictates changes. So it simply says business must adjust prices and strategies due to economic changes. For example, we can talk of a business increasing price due to rising fuel cost. Hope you get it. Changes in income levels may result in customers not avoiding goods and services they used to buy before. Here we are talking about changes in income levels affecting buying power. Get me straight. So it simply says customers may not afford goods when income decreases. That is that. Because during the recession, fewer people buy luxury items. So that is that. Laws imposed by governments may demand business to pay more money. So here we're talking about what? Government laws, increasing costs. New laws may require business to pay more taxes or wages. Other business that trade internationally may not keep up with changes taking place globally, as they may pay more money on transportation of goods and services. Here we are talking about international trade challenges. As business trading internationally may struggle with exchange rate changes. So, for example, a weak rand makes importing goods more expensive. That is that. Also, you can talk of tariffs. As it says, tariffs and interest rates can be very expensive, resulting in some business closing down completely. So any relevant answer in relation to challenges of economic environment on business is acceptable. So now we are going to 4.3. Not 4.2, 4.2, which says outline the purpose of public relations function. outline the purpose of. Okay, so there's a mistake that I have just identified here. Here it was not supposed to be 4.2, it was supposed to be 4.3. So here is 4.4. So that is the incorrect numbering. So yeah, we are on 4.3, outline the purpose of public relations function. Purpose of a public relations function. So we have said this is 4.3. 4.3. So the first one is that business get publicity for promotional events and information through media. So it means that public relation promotes the business through media coverage. For example, a company advertises a new product on TV. So that is that. New conferences may be called to release information which will ensure the survival of the business. We are talking of what? New conferences. Meaning to say, they used to share important information with the public. Used to share important information with the public. For example, a company announcing a new COO. So that is that. Employees may volunteer to spend time with people in need. For example, volunteering a day, orphanages, hospitals, schools, and so on. So we are talking about employee volunteering. So this improves the business image in the community. Business could sponsor community events and gain customer loyalty. So you are talking about sponsoring community events, business. So this builds what? Customer loyalty. Customers are going to want to make business with such a business that can sponsor community events. So they will be loyal to such a company. Networking, not networking, but broadcasts can also be used to distribute information about the company. Use of broadcasts, yeah, that is that, so that they can provide information about products and services. So that is that. So now networking is a popular form of public relations. Clients or customers can have direct contact with employees or communicate telephonically. The area of networking, where we say it's going to build strong relationship with customers. That is that. Business representatives may attend networking events and promote the products of the business. So attending networking events, so it means this will promote products and services. So that is that. Business could use corporate social responsibility involving communities as a public relations actively. Here we are talking about corporate social responsibility, CSR. So it means it helps communicate and improves reputation. That is that. Like the business can donate food to the needy. So that is that. So these are the importance of purpose of public relations. So now coming to 4.4. It says advise business on the importance of stock control. Advise business on the importance of stock control. Here we are on that. Importance of stock control. The importance of stock control. As it says, enables business to determine the amount or value of stock. So it determines stock value. It determines stock value. It determines stock value. So meaning to say it helps know how much stock is available. That is that. Business can check the cost and selling price of products. Business can check the cost and selling price of the products. So it is easy for a business to do that. Also ensures that there is enough stock to meet the normal demand of consumers. So that is the importance of stock control, so that customers, they are not going to find the business without stock because they will switch to the rivals. So the importance of stock control is to make sure that the stock is enough. There's no shortage of stock. Keeps the correct levels of stock on hand. So it keeps correct stock levels. So it means it avoids overstocking or understocking. That's what it means. Avoids overstocking and or understocking or understocking. That is that. Records the cost prices and selling prices of the stock. So if you were talking about the record prices, this help with financial planning. By recording the cost price and selling prices, this is going to help with financial planning. Identifies theft in a business when the physical stock count is compared with the electronic stock control system. So it detects the missing stock. It detects missing stock. It detects missing stock because physical account shows missing items. So any relevant answer related to the importance of stock control is acceptable. So that is that. So this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and make sure that you're going to share with others, and please don't forget to hit the subscription button. Thank you very much.